Have you ever climbed the ladder of success, only to glance down and see a crowd of smiling faces that weren't there during the struggle? Wealth has a magnetic pull, drawing in admirers like moths to a flame. But how many are true companions? And how many are merely chasing the glow? Drawing from Machiavelli's razor-sharp observations on power's illusions and the Stoics' grounded wisdom on human frailty, this exploration unmasks the opportunists who flock to fortune. We'll delve into the subtle games of manipulation, the fragility of loyalty when riches fade, and the path to inner fortitude that no amount of gold can erode. It's not about breeding cynicism, but awakening clarity to navigate prosperity without being ensnared by its shadows. If you've sensed the sting of fair weather alliances, stay tuned. These ancient lessons offer timeless armor for modern ambitions, turning vulnerability into unyielding strength. The allure of wealth as a beacon for opportunists. From the dawn of ambition, when coins first clinked in pockets and estates sprawled under envious eyes, wealth has whispered a seductive promise: elevation, security, legacy. But Machiavelli, that keen-eyed navigator of human ambition, saw beyond the glitter. He recognized wealth not just as a crown, but as a beacon summoning shadows, opportunists cloaked in friendship's guise. The Stoics, with their unyielding grasp on reality, echoed this: prosperity stirs the waters of desire, drawing in those who seek not your company, but your cash. Epictetus might remind us that externals like riches are indifferent. It's our judgments that bind us to illusion. In this section, we'll peel back the layers of this magnetic pull, exploring how fortune attracts the masked, and how ancient wisdom equips us to see through the facade without descending into distrust. Picture a young inventor whose clever device catapults them into sudden affluence. Overnight, their inbox overflows with messages from distant relatives, former classmates, and strangers bearing business cards. Invitations to exclusive gatherings multiply, each host praising their ingenuity with wide smiles and firm handshakes. It's intoxicating. This surge of attention, like a warm current carrying you forward. Yet, Machiavelli would caution, examine the motives. In The Prince, he detailed how courtiers flock to the powerful, offering flattery as currency for favor. Wealth, in his view, amplifies power's orbit, pulling in satellites that orbit only while the gravity holds. These masked figures aren't always villains from tales of intrigue. Often, they're ordinary people driven by the quiet hum of self-interest, a job seeker eyeing your connections, a social aspirant borrowing your status for a night, or an advisor whose counsel subtly steers toward their gain. The Stoics teach us not to judge harshly. Seneca wrote that humans are social creatures, yet prone to pursuing what benefits them. Wealth, he observed, brings many companions, but few friends. Number zero. Ta you are. This isn't malice, but nature, the bee drawn to nectar, not the flower itself. When your prosperity shines, it illuminates paths for others' opportunities they might not chase without your light. Consider historical echoes. Take the Roman emperors, whose treasuries attracted sycophants by the legion. Caligula's court brimmed with yes-men, their loyalty as thin as the gold leaf on his statues. Or modern moguls, a tech billionaire whose parties draw celebrities and influencers, all posting glowing tributes online. But let a scandal dim the shine, a lawsuit, a market dip, and the crowd thins. Calls go unanswered. Partnerships dissolve into politi regrets. Machiavelli knew this rhythm. He advised princes to test alliances in calm waters before storms. For fair-weather friends reveal themselves when winds shift. The mask they wear is subtle, crafted from shared laughs, empathetic nods, and timely compliments. Your vision is inspiring, they say, eyes gleaming, not with admiration, but calculation. Stoic philosophy urges us to observe without attachment. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reflected on the transience of fame and fortune. All things are smoke and vapor. Number zero. R. 大于二. By viewing wealth's pull as a natural force, like gravity or tides, we avoid bitterness. Instead, we cultivate discernment, asking silently, what do they gain? Is their presence constant or conditional? To illustrate, recall a lottery winner's tale, flooded with friends offering investment schemes or charity pleas. They soon learn the hard way, loans unpaid, advice self-serving. On a such winner, anonymous in interviews, shared how old acquaintances resurfaced with tales of hardship, their urgency tied to his windfall. The Stoics would say, expect this. Epictetus taught that what others do is beyond our control. Our response is what matters. Don't resent the masked. Recognize them as teachers, honing your ability to spot authenticity. So, how do we navigate this magnetic field? Machiavelli's pragmatism offers tools, build alliances, strategically, rewarding loyalty with measured generosity, offer help, but track reciprocity. If a new contact praises your success, propose a collaboration where they invest equally. Watch if enthusiasm wanes. The Stoics add depth, foster inner wealth. Seneca advised living simply, even amid abundance, to detach from externals. He who needs riches least enjoys them most. Number zero. R. 大于二. By building self-sufficiency, you reduce the beacon's allure. Opportunists sense when their masks won't stick. In practice, this means curating your circle like a gardener tends roses, pruning the weeds that choke growth. Engage with newcomers, but test bonds gradually. Share minor vulnerabilities. First, a business hurdle, a personal doubt. True allies respond with genuine support, not pivots to their agenda. The masked, they deflect or disappear, their interest revealed as fleeting. This awareness isn't isolation, it's empowerment. Wealth still brings joys, philanthropy, innovation, comfort, but now with eyes open. Machiavelli didn't advocate paranoia, but preparedness. The Stoics, not withdrawal, but wisdom. Together, they forge a shield. See the magnet for what it is. Attract what serves your path, and let the rest orbit elsewhere. As we close this section, remember, the masked are part of prosperity's landscape, not its curse. By unmasking them through philosophical lens, you transform attraction into advantage. Wealth draws them near, but clarity keeps you sovereign, unmoved. Unshaken, ever forward. In the next segment, we'll delve into the subtle deceptions that follow, arming you further against the fake. Unmasking manipulation in the guise of friendship. As wealth casts its radiant spell, it often invites a more insidious companion, Manipulation. Cleverly disguised as the warm embrace of friendship. Machiavelli, the unflinching analyst of ambition's shadows, understood this as a fundamental tactic in the game of influence, where words become weapons and gestures hide agendas. The Stoics, champions of clear perception, would add that such deceptions flourish only when we cling to illusions of purity in human bonds. Epictetus reminded us that our power lies in interpreting events, not in controlling others' hidden motives. In this exploration, we'll lift the veil on how opportunists cloak their self-serving ploys in camaraderie, blending ancient insights to equip you with the discernment to spot, neutralize, and rise above these subtle snares without succumbing to suspicion. Envision a budding entrepreneur whose innovative startup secures major funding. Amid the celebrations, a charismatic acquaintance emerges, hosting dinners and sharing tales of mutual inspiration. They listen intently to your challenges, offering sage advice that seems tailored to your needs. Yet, gradually, the dynamic shifts, suggestions for partnerships where they stand to gain disproportionately, or casual mentions of their own ventures needing your endorsement. This isn't raw betrayal, it's refined manipulation. Machiavelli detailed such strategies in his observations of rulers, noting how courtiers use flattery to bend wills, creating dependencies that serve their climb. Everyone sees what you appear to be. He wrote, "Few experience what you really are." Number zero. R. 大于 R. Wealth heightens this, turning you into a canvas for others' ambitions. Painted with strokes of feigned loyalty, manipulators employ a repertoire of techniques, subtle yet effective. They might mirror your opinions to build rapport, agreeing emphatically to foster a sense of kinship, only to steer conversations toward their objectives. Or they deploy selective empathy, comforting you during minor setbacks while probing for vulnerabilities that could be exploited later. The Stoics counter this with rational vigilance. Seneca advised us to weigh deeds against declarations, for the road to ruin is paved with good intentions, or at least the appearance of them. Number zero. R. 大于 R. In today's digital age, this guise extends online. Influencers sliding into your messages with collaborative ideas that amplify their brand more than yours. Or advisors liking every post while subtly angling for consulting gigs. Historical vignettes illuminate the pattern. Consider Julius Caesar, whose ascent drew allies like Brutus, whose friendship masked political maneuvering until the infamous Ides. In contemporary terms, think of a celebrity whose fame attracts managers promising stardom, but whose contracts favor their pockets. One anonymous heiress shared in interviews how friends organized lavish trips, only to invoice her later for shared costs inflated beyond reason. These stories reveal manipulation's core. It preys on trust, using wealth's allure to lower guards. To unmask it, sharpen your senses. Watch for inconsistencies, enthusiasm that surges when opportunities arise but fades in neutral moments. Proposed tests suggest a venture requiring their equal commitment, or share a non-profitable passion and gauge their interest. Machiavelli's wisdom here is pragmatic. Simulate naivety to draw out truths, revealing if their bond is genuine or transactional. The Stoics enhance this with inner discipline. Marcus Aurelius journaled daily to reflect on interactions, advising, Look things in the face and know them for what they are. Number 0. Number 0. 二大于二. By detaching emotionally, you view manipulation not as a personal affront, but as a natural ripple in the pond of human desires. Defending against it demands boundaries, not barriers. Limit disclosures to surface levels until loyalty proves itself through actions, like standing by you in unglamorous times. Cultivate reciprocity, give thoughtfully, tracking. If returns match your generosity, Machiavelli urged strategic alliances align with those whose interests overlap honestly. While the Stoics emphasize self-reliance, build an internal fortress where no external ploy can breach your peace. What stands in the way becomes the way. Aurelius noted, turning these encounters into forging grounds for resilience. This unmasking empowers rather than embitters. Wealth may draw the guileful, but wisdom transforms their approaches into lessons, refining your circle to the steadfast. True friendships, rare as they are, shine brighter against this backdrop, connections rooted in mutual respect, not mutual gain. By weaving Machiavellian acuity with Stoic calm, you navigate these waters unscathed, your integrity intact. As we wrap this revelation, hold on to the clarity. Manipulation loses its sting when seen plainly. In the coming section, we'll probe how power reshapes loyalty, further fortifying your defenses against the fleeting and the fake. Power dynamics and the fragility of loyalty. At the core of wealth's deceptive charm lies an unyielding force power, which orchestrates loyalty like strings on a puppet, pulling tight in prosperity and slackening when fortunes wane. Machiavelli, the master decoder of authority's rhythms, laid this bare in his treatises, asserting that human bonds bend to the winds of advantage, not the anchors of affection. The Stoics, ever attuned to life's impermanence, would concur through Epictetus's lens. Loyalty is an external, beyond our grasp, and pinning peace to it invites turmoil. In this chapter, we'll dissect how power shapes allegiances, exposing their fragility amid riches, and forge a path of Stoic resilience fused with Machiavellian foresight to safeguard your sovereignty without isolation. Visualize a corporate titan at the helm of a thriving empire. Boardrooms echo with affirmations. Partners vow steadfast support, and even rivals extend olive branches. This isn't mere courtesy, it's power's gravity at work. Machiavelli observed in princely courts how the mighty command devotion, not through virtue alone, but through the promise of elevation or the shadow of downfall. It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles, equipped, underscoring that loyalty flows upward to the influential, evaporating when that influence dims. Wealth amplifies this dynamic, transforming you into a sun around which others orbit for warmth, light, and opportunity. Yet, loyalty's fragility reveals itself in the cracks. When a market crash erodes your assets or a scandal tarnishes your name, watch the shifts. Advisors grow distant with vague schedules. Allies pivot to new patrons, and pledges dissolve into silence. This isn't always cold calculation. Often, it's instinctual realignment. The Stoics frame it as nature's course. Seneca noted that people cling to the prosperous like leaves to a tree in summer, scattering in autumn's chill. Expect injury from those you have benefited, he warned. highlighting how gratitude sours when power imbalances tip. Examples from history and today drive this home. King Louis XIV of France, the Sun, king, wielded absolute power. His Versailles court, teeming with nobles whose loyalty hinged on royal favor, revoquea privilege, and whispers of dissent arose. In modern parallels, consider a hedge fund manager whose bold bets yield billions, drawing acolytes who mimic his style and seek his mentorship. But a single bad quarter sees defections employees jump ship. Investors withdraw, revealing allegiance tied to success, not solidarity. One tech mogul, in a candid memoir, described how friends celebrated his IPO windfall with extravagance, yet vanished during regulatory probes. Their absence, a stark lesson in conditional bonds. Power dynamics manifest in supple hierarchies. In social circles, your wealth grants deference opinions weighted heavier, invitations prioritized, but it's a facade. Challenge this by stepping back delegate decisions or feign vulnerability without reward. And note who remains engaged. Machiavelli advised rulers to simulate weakness occasionally, testing true supporters amid feigned adversity. The Stoics complement this with equanimity. Marcus Aurelius meditated on the fickleness of praise, advising, "Be content with what you are, and wish not change, nor dread your last day, nor long for it." Number zero. R. 大于二. By internalizing this, you detach loyalty's worth from your self-worth, viewing defections as revelations, not rejections. To fortify against this fragility, blend strategies. Embrace Machiavellian vigilance. Map your relationships like a chessboard, identifying pawns, knights, and kings, those who advance with you versus those who merely follow. Reward proven loyalty generously, but diversify alliances to avoid over-reliance. The Stoics urge building an inner citadel, cultivate virtues like wisdom and courage, making external validations optional. Practice daily. Reflections journal, interactions, questioning. Does this bond endure if my power fades? Epictetus's dichotomy of control aids here. What others pledge is theirs. Your response is yours. This approach doesn't breed cynicism, it births clarity. Wealth's power may fracture loyalties, but awareness mends your resolve. True allegiance, when it appears, becomes a cherished anomaly, presence in poverty as potent as in plenty. Protect it, but never depend on it. As Seneca reflected, loyalty is rare, expect it not, and rejoice when it arrives. Number zero. R. 大于二. In wrapping this insight, grasp that power's dance with loyalty is eternal, but your mastery over it is attainable. With Machiavelli's cunning and the Stoics' calm, you transcend fragility, standing firm as allegiance's flux. Ahead, we'll cultivate inner strength to thrive amid these illusions, completing our armor against the fake. Cultivating inner strength amid external illusions. In the shimmering haze of wealth's promises, external illusions multiply like mirages in a desert, tempting us to chase shadows of loyalty and connection that vanish upon approach. Machiavelli, the pragmatic architect of survival strategies, warned that such deceptions are woven into the fabric of power, urging us to build defenses not from walls of suspicion, but from the steel of self-mastery, the Stoics, guardians of the soul's fortress. Elevate this further. Marcus Aurelius taught that true strength blooms inward. Unaffected by the world's fleeting spectacles, you have power over your mind, not outside events, he affirmed. In this final segment, we'll cultivate that inner resilience, merging Machiavellian acuity with Stoic discipline to thrive amid illusions, transforming potential pitfalls into pillars of unshakable peace. Wealth's illusions often manifest as a parade of facades, grand gestures from admirers, whispered alliances in boardrooms, or digital accolades that inflate egos without substance. These externals seduce, promising validation and security, yet they erode when tested. Machiavelli dissected this in his counsel to leaders. Rely not on the fickle favor of others, but on your own virtue, that blend of cunning and resolve. He illustrated through tales of princes who, blinded by flattery, lost empires to unseen rivals. The Stoics echo this detachment. Seneca, a wealthy man who faced exile, advised viewing riches as borrowed garments, easily stripped away. Nothing is ours except time, he wrote, redirecting focus to the eternal within. To cultivate inner strength, begin with self-examination. A cornerstone of both philosophies, Machiavelli encouraged ruthless honesty in assessing one's position, mapping strengths and vulnerabilities like a general surveys terrain. Pair this with Stoic practices, daily meditation, as Aurelius did, reflecting on the day's illusions. Ask, what flattery did I accept today? Which friend sought gain over genuine exchange? This habit sharpens perception, turning illusions into instructive echoes rather than destructive forces. Modern life amplifies these challenges. Social media, a virtual court of endless intrigue, bombards the affluent with likes and collaborations that mimic bonds but dissolve offline. An influencer with sudden fortune might amass followers proclaiming kinship, yet find solitude in crisis. One venture capitalist shared anonymously how partners praised his insights during booms, only to ghost amid downturns. A stark reminder of loyalty's mirage. Machiavelli would nod power invites performance, not permanence. The Stoics offer solace, Epictetus, born a slave, yet free in spirit, emphasized controlling interpretations, reframed defections, not as losses, but as clarifications, freeing mental space for authentic pursuits. Building this strength requires deliberate actions. Embrace voluntary discomfort. A Stoic exercise: live modestly for periods, even amid abundance. To detach from wealth's grip. Seneca practiced this, imagining poverty to steel his resolve. Machiavelli complements with strategic solitude, withdraw occasionally to observe from afar, noting who reaches out without prompt. This tests illusions, revealing true allies while fortifying your independence. Foster virtues that illusions cannot touch. Cultivate wisdom through study Machiavelli's histories or Stoic texts like Aurelius's Meditations, gaining perspectives that outlast fortunes. Practice gratitude, not for possessions, but for inner qualities: resilience, integrity, clarity. When a masked opportunist approaches with honeyed proposals, respond with poised inquiry, unswayed by charm. Historical figures embody this. Cato the Younger, a Stoic statesman, faced Caesar's might with unyielding principle, his loyalty to self over empire, inspiring even adversaries. In business realms, think of entrepreneurs like Warren Buffett, who navigates wealth's temptations with folksy wisdom, prioritizing long-term character over short-term sycophants. Inner strength also blooms in generosity without attachment. Give freely, as Machiavelli suggested, to secure alliances, but expect nothing Machiavelli to bind, Stoics to liberate. This disarms manipulators your openness, untethered to reciprocity, exposes their agendas. If they fade, you've lost nothing essential. Epictetus framed it perfectly. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. Number 0. Number 0. 二，大于二. Your mind, honed sharp, becomes the ultimate asset. As illusions swirl, remember community's role, not the illusory crowd, but a curated few. Machiavelli advocated for trusted counselors, vetted through trials. Stoics, for philosophical companions who challenge illusions. Nurture these bonds quietly, away from wealth's spotlight, ensuring they root in shared virtue. In essence, cultivating inner strength amid external illusions is an art of alchemy, transmuting wealth's traps into wisdom's gold. Machiavelli provides the map, charting power's pitfalls. The Stoics, the compass, pointing inward. Together, they forge a life where prosperity serves you, not defines you. No longer ensnared by the fake, you walk with quiet authority. Illusion, parting like mist before dawn. With this foundation, you've armed yourself against wealth's deceptions. If these reflections resonate, ponder your own illusions. What facades have you unmasked? Share below. And subscribe for more blends of ancient insight and modern mastery. Until next time, may your inner light outshine any external glare. Wealth's allure may summon shadows of deceit, but armed with Machiavelli's cunning gaze and the Stoic's serene wisdom, you emerge unscathed, a master of your realm, no longer ensnared by illusions of loyalty or manipulation's subtle grasp. You stand firm in inner sovereignty, where true power resides beyond gold's gleam. Cherish the rare, authentic bonds that weather every storm, and let clarity guide your path through prosperity's maze. Remember, fortune favors the vigilant heart. If these timeless truths ignited your reflection, subscribe for more philosophical journeys, and share your tales of unmasking the fake below. Until our next exploration, walk wisely, unbowed by the world's fleeting facades.